Hey everyone, Brian here from Vintage Classic Specialist. Happy Thursday, otherwise known as Friday Eve to everyone. It is time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So today inside the shop here was me and Mr. Jacob, and outside in the body shop and in the upholstery area was Mr. Santiago and Mr. Rene. And so yeah, Rafa's off today, so why don't we see what happened around here today? Let me go ahead and start with this beauty here, the black beauty. Santiago is still working on the seats for this. Sometimes achieving perfection takes a long time. So anyway, yeah, I keep promising you, I'm just going to stop like predicting when the upholstery for this car is going to be done. So I think the last 2 days in a row, I thought it'd be done on the following day. And anyway, not done yet, but getting super close, and it's going to be worth the wait. However, still making progress on this car. So today had Jacob work on it, and if you saw the thumbnail, you probably noticed that it's sitting up on jack stands, and the brake drums are off, and in fact, the wheel cylinders are off. So one of the things I think the owner mentioned he wanted us to do is, go through the brake system. It's always a good idea to do on these cars, unless you know that it's been done recently. And so, yeah, I went ahead and had Jacob pull all the drums and inspect the wheel cylinders, inspect the master cylinder for signs of leaks, etc. And sure enough, it had one leaky rear wheel cylinder. And again, as I always mention, I always replace them in pairs. Don't be lazy or cheap and just replace one. And then on the front, none of them were leaking per se. But one of the, in fact, it was the front driver's side, the boot was pretty degraded and tore and stuff. And the boot doesn't really act as a seal on the hydraulic system per se. It's more of like a dust cover. But I figured if the boot was that, kind of degraded and stuff like that, that it's probably just a matter of time before the pistons start leaking. And so, we've got it all apart. We were already planning to replace the wheel cylinders on the back. So let's just do the whole thing. Likewise, the brake hoses, which need to be replaced periodically, they looked okay and would probably be fine. But again, with brakes, it's not really something that we like to take chances with. Plus, this car having its original style brake system, it is what's called a single circuit system, which means that there's one piston in the master cylinder, and that piston feeds the brakes to all four wheels. And so unlike a later car that has what's called a dual circuit system, where the front brakes and the rear brakes are essentially two completely isolated systems. So unlike those, on a single circuit system, if you lose, say one wheel cylinder in a bad way, or one brake line or whatever, you lose all your brakes. And at that point, you better hope that your emergency brake is adjusted and working, because, like I said, if you totally blow out a brake line, or a wheel cylinder fails catastrophically, guess what? You got no brakes on these earlier cars. So anyway, always a very good idea to err on the side of caution with brakes in general, and especially, I would say, on older single circuit cars. So that is exactly what we're doing here. So yeah, Jacob pretty much got everything tore apart today, and I don't think he's taken off the rubber lines yet, but the wheel cylinders are off. And then yeah, we're gonna go ahead and put on new shoes. The shoes are also okay, but there was some uneven wear on them, and again, we're already in there. The shoes themselves are not terribly expensive. It doesn't add a lot of time. Once you're this far into a brake system, swapping in new brake shoes is relatively trivial as far as the amount of time it adds. So kind of a no-brainer. Anyway, so Jacob worked on that today. The other thing he did was he went ahead and pulled the shift lever, e-brake lever, and the steering column tube, and of course also the turn signal body and stuff like that. So all that stuff is going to get painted the correct beige color to match the seat frames and stuff. They were all painted way too bright of an off-white, And on top of being the wrong color, they were pretty battered looking. Those of you that have been following the channel probably know what I'm talking about, especially like the e-brake lever and the shifter, just very like scratched up and ugly and the wrong color. So it's like, you know what, going this far with this car, make it its interior beautiful, etc., etc. So at that point, yeah, let's paint all this stuff and make it look amazing. So give that stuff to my paint and body guy, Renee, maybe tomorrow or so, and have him work his magic on those things. And let's see, one other small-ish thing that I had Jacob do was go ahead and put the generator together for this car. So he had previously gone and wire brushed the body and painted it, and then me and Renee painted the cover here for the regulator, and I cleaned it all up and got it looking pretty, and Jacob painted the end caps, etc. So I had him go ahead and reassemble this today. So this is the one, of course, for the 56, whose motor he also did an amazing job on cleaning it up and put a coat of clear coat on it. And so, as I mentioned the other day, all the tin for this motor and most of the hardware is out at powder coating and zinc plating, and then the muffler and some of those things are at ceramic coating. So hopefully next week we start getting parts in for this thing and we can put it together, and then the car is ready for it. I already pretty much restored the engine compartment, you know, new sound mat, new seals, etc. So this puppy's ready for its motor, and yeah, we'll probably actually be done with this car in the next week or so, maybe a couple weeks at most here, and get it back to its owner. So that was pretty much Jacob's day, working primarily on this one. So me, I literally spent all day on electrical gremlins here on this 65 Notchback, and oh, it had many electrical gremlins. So pretty much none of the lights really worked. The headlights kind of worked, but were really, really dim. The tail lights, the running lights in back worked, but nothing else in the back worked. None of the front indicators or running lights or anything worked. And the brake lights, if I didn't mention that already, didn't work. Like almost nothing as far as lights are concerned worked. And again, the lights that worked didn't work very well. So pretty much methodically went through and started tracing things out. The brake lights, it pretty much seemed to be some bad connections. This car does have the original wiring harness in it, and you know, connections kind of corrode over time and stuff like that. So pretty much with the brakes, it was cleaning the connections both on the bulb holders and then some connections up front here. That took care of those. The turn signals, on the other hand, were quite a challenge. And related to the turn signals also is on these cars the high-low switch. So there's a button that you can't really see that you squeeze on the back of here that switches from high to low beams. So this car, the turn signal stock that was in it was actually busted about right there and was just like dangling there. And he did, in his bag of parts, he did have a at least part of the turn signal switch. He had this part right here, and so pulled the steering wheel, pulled that part out. The replacement he had, which was a used one, the switch that I was just mentioning for switching between high and low, was no good. It was missing a screw, missing a wire, etc. The one that was like dangling here when the car came in, that switch was actually good, but the turn signal switch itself wasn't good. So essentially I took the high-low switch out of the old turn signal stock and cleaned it up and put it in the new one, and then painted the whole thing. This one was black, and put it on, and then started tracing out the turn signals and getting them to work. So pretty much other than the contacts and stuff on there that were missing, that was taken care of when I put the new one on. But it's kind of hard to explain, but only half the contacts were in there, and the contacts that were in there were for the way these are hooked up is there's a set for the rear turn signals and there's a set for the front turn signals. The ones for the front turn signals I sort of figured out later, they were missing. And so eventually playing around with the bulbs, cleaning grounds, etc., I got the back turn signals to work, but then the front ones wouldn't work. So again, kind of started in the front, traced my way back to under the column, and that's when I sort of figured out that that second row of contacts was for the front turn signals. So pretty much at that point, what I'm doing is I'm piggybacking the front turn signals off the terminals for the back, which I don't know why they did it in two separate rows like that of contacts, but anyway, so piggybacking those off there and pretty much had it done. I was doing the piggyback on the second one, which was the one I did second was the passenger side, and then the whole thing stopped working. And I was like, great, you've got to be kidding me, now what? And so it turns out that the turn signal relay in there, the flasher relay, was actually a 6-volt unit, and this is of course a 12-volt car. And so I think that finally, like all the testing that I was doing, etc., of the lights, that the 6-volt flasher relay finally popped, finally went bad. And so I didn't have a spare 12-volt one around, but basically what you can do is you can remove the relay from the circuit and pretty much just the two wires on it, just jumper those together. And then what happens is if you turn the turn signal switch, for example, to do like a left turn, then the rear and front turn signals will come on, but they'll just stay illuminated, kind of like a brake light or whatever. So that showed me that the circuit is actually fine and that it was just the relay. So I'll pick up a new 12-volt proper voltage relay for the turn signals on this tomorrow, and then I think the turn signals are going to be done. And again, in the front, took a lot of time cleaning bulb holders and stuff like that because, of course, they didn't just work. Same thing with the front running lights. They also didn't work. So cleaning contacts, etc., on those. So yeah, I think once I iron out the turn signal flasher relay, then I think all the lights are going to be working, except the last thing I noticed is the license plate light didn't work. So I may take a look at that. That should be an easy fix because it's literally just a wire that typically just kind of comes off one of the tail lights. Not super critical as far as I'm concerned, but I'll try and get it to work. And then the only other thing I'll probably try and do electrically on this car is see if I can get the horn to work. But yeah, guys, that was my day chasing electrical gremlins. So it's kind of fun in a way because I enjoy sort of being methodical and going through and testing every point of potential failure of a system like that. But it can also be frustrating. So anyway, it's electrical is one of those things. It's kind of like a love-hate thing. Anyway, but yeah, I'm very happy actually that pretty much everything on this car works. The headlights, I don't think I mentioned that were super dull. Pretty much on those, every fuse on the fuse holder, or not the fuses themselves, but the contacts on the fuse holder, pretty much every one had a fairly decent little level of corrosion on it. And so I went one by one, pulled out each fuse, and then kind of scraped and Scotch-Brighted the contacts on the fuse holder, and then boom, all of a sudden, headlights were very bright and so on. So yeah, this car really needed that done too. I'm sure other things on the car were probably not working as well because I can't imagine that anything was getting full voltage with those contacts how they were. But anyway, that was that. So let's talk about this one for just a minute. So Renee and Raul have been continuing to totally kill it on this one, and I think that Renee he's done at least 2 coats of blocking and stuff on the front here. This side, as you can see, still needs to be blocked another time. It's got a guide coat on it now, which is kind of mist over, like say black paint over the gray primer. And then when you start sanding, it'll kind of show low areas and high areas by the way the black comes off. But yeah, this car is getting super dialed in here. And I'm thinking that we may paint this thing by the end of the month. If not the end of the month, then I think early or maybe mid next month. So really fast this one's coming along. Obviously much nicer car to start with compared to the 68, which was a rust bucket and had been in 1,000 fender benders. So guys, that is it for today. Lots going on around here, and we will see you again tomorrow. So thanks for watching. Bye.